we've all walked through, a theme park or a movie set that you can do when you go to sort of the Universal World, for example. And from the front, it looks like a full home. The doors, the windows, and the works, but behind it, it's just scaffolding. There's nothing, right? It's all
Nothing.
about facade. So it's really hiding emptiness, and that's how I want to really frame it up today in terms of some advice that people get. It's it looks polished, but there's no depth behind it. There's no modeling, no contingencies, no plan B. So this is how I want to think about it. It's a bit like a concept car versus the family SUV. So if you go to those amazing expos and you see those concept cars and they're got these awesome angles and gull wing doors and sleek dashboards, but then you've got to sort of think to yourself, can I drive the kids to soccer in this one? Or we're not going to get it serviced. What are the parts going to be like, and who's going to be able to service it for me? But you don't need a concept car. You actually need a strategy that runs sort of every day in real conditions with real people in the back seat. And the other thing is, it's a bit like magazine architects, right? Some architects design visually stunning buildings that, they've got these amazing awards. But what about when it rains, Ben? All these angles that the builder has had to put in these magazine-worthy designs, but those intricate roofs run the risk of leaking or having these amazing, stunning, ornate lobbies that nobody actually ever uses. But they look amazing. They win awards. They are on the front page of architect magazines. But in terms of practicality, and the final one is this, Ben, and this will relate to some. And I'm obviously going to have a cheap shot at some previous series of The Block, but I used to, when I did used to watch the Block television show, it was just frustrating when they were looking about the art on the wall of the choice of the cushions. But no one at auction is like, when someone's standing at the front of a property and they're bidding on a property at auction, they want to know, is the floor plan practical? Is the sun coming into the living areas? Is the spaces practical for my family to use? When I walk in, is there a spot for the kids to put all their stuff, their school bags? And, it's real estate 101, not Vogue magazine shots. So this is all stuff that looks impressive, but they don't serve practical needs. And really, that's what we want to set up today, Ben, in terms of what you and I want to talk about. In terms of getting a plan done for someone's financial future, we really want to distinguish and we actually want to break down the difference between what actually looks sexy, what's actually sort of topical and gets your attention and has a pattern interrupt and really sort of plays to the emotion versus what's logical and what's practical and what's actually going to serve someone for their future needs. So that's where we want to go today, Ben. So function over form is where we want to start. But what are your thoughts?
Well, I like the idea, right? I mean, at the end of the day, flashy, sexy sells. And I mean, I draw the parallel, Bryce, to looking at what's happening on Facebook and Insta and YouTube, and I'm drawing this really strong parallel with the advisors talking about massive returns really quickly, and getting me amped up about what I can do. But I don't see financial planners being able to do that, Bryce.
No.
And the reason is because they're regulated and they can't do it,
Yeah.
right? So, but because residential property is completely unregulated, anyone can say anything and not be fact checked, not necessarily part of that. So, what you're drawing on here is this practical substance piece versus this, using your car analogy. This is what could be, but it's not necessarily based in factual reality right across the board. And I think. And then, I mean, I could go on a tangent here and talk about, obviously, then conflicted remuneration. And
we'll talk about that later. We'll definitely get into that.
And so it's just part of that strategy. So yeah, so mate, couldn't agree with you more. Tell me more about what you're talking about.
I just think, Ben, our biggest fear, and off air we talk. Our biggest fear is that in 5 years' time, people are going to look back and just go, "What have I done?
Yeah.
What have I done?"
Correct.
and some of the strategies and some of the advice that is just being offered is just going to have people in, yeah,
Well,
go
last
back
week
and,
episode's a perfect example.
oh my
8
gosh,
properties, 8 cash flow or silver bullet properties at the cheap end of town, still no positive cash flow, a million amounts of headaches in terms of frustrating, the owner. It just doesn't feel like, what's next? A bad tenant, another major repair. Like, the whole thing has just not been a wonderful experience.
yeah,
It's created a job, and now they've got to trade their way out of that problem that they've
yeah,
created. So it's a perfect reminder for people in terms of, what do you want to be? Do you want to, you are still running a business, but what do you want to be? Do you
mm,
want to be that person who is got a plan, a long-term plan that's going to drive longevity, or are you in a rush